So I put this video on my cycling channel last night. Watch it, and I'm going to add a bit extra to the end. Check this out. Okay, listen to this video. Armstrong sledging Geraint Thomas. Listen to this, and I'll explain it in a sec. Listen.
Going on here around you.
Here's a stat. I'm just seeing this. Geraint Thomas's time up Alpe d'Huez. I mean, these people really, really geek out about. I mean, it's essentially a time trial, right? I mean, there's, and even outside of Strava, there's every year they really are focused on what is the time up Alpe d'Huez. This actually really blows me away. Geraint Thomas's time was 41:15. The record, Marco Pantani. I won't tell you who else went just about the same time at some point in his life. That's 4 minutes and 35 seconds slower than the record. Wow. And not even fast enough to enter the top 100 fastest times on Alpe d'Huez. That's...
Wow. Demelon did say there was a big headwind, but that wouldn't account for 4 minutes.
No.
Well, what would account for 4 minutes?
The cat and mouse would not. No,
that's a minute. That's a minute right there. They sat up watching each other.
A minute?
Yeah,
they were still moving. They didn't stop.
They were... Nibali was a minute behind, and then he got within 50 meters of the group. So, yeah, they lost about
behind?
A minute. We'll ask Johan what he thinks.
When Nibali almost comes back and Landa comes back, that's obviously a sign that...
How much time do you think they lost doing that, Johan? Sitting four abreast, basically chatting.
Well, I don't think they were chatting, but...
looking at each other, maybe not chatting. Mind talking.
The fact that a guy like Landa, who was dropped pretty quickly, comes back not once, twice, but 3 times.
Thank you, Johan. I'm just trying to prove a point.
Well, he didn't hear. He must not have heard me. He definitely didn't hear me. There's no way.
So happy.
You know, one thing that we
that.
didn't. Johan alluded to it, that it was a very tough day, and so when you start to look at these times, like Pantani's time, keep in mind that stage when Pantani set the record. That stage started in Grenoble.
One climb.
So all they did was come up the valley. Granted, it's not flat, but it's not a climb. So they rolled up the valley. He started Alpe d'Huez with an entire team. So they had people. I mean, it was like a sprint lead out when he started Alpe d'Huez. Hence the record. And when I did it, and just about the same time, a few seconds off, it was a time trial. So all I did was one climb.
Yeah.
These boys did 5,000 meters today, 15,000 vertical feet.
Yeah, it was a brutal day.
Now, this has been interesting. I've been in the unique situation of riding with Geraint Thomas and Lance Armstrong up here at Norton Summit in Adelaide and talking to them both about high-carb, vegan lifestyle, etc. We'll get to... I've done videos about that, but just wanted to say that was some pretty hardcore sledging. That was some hardcore sledging. They said that they basically... there was some sledging going on there. They said that they did 5,000 meters of elevation and that they rode it easy. They sat up and they were chatting, but they still only did 4 minutes slower than the Pantani record, which was in 97. And if you watch the 97 footage, you'll see that the entire Tour de France peloton arrived at the foot of Alpe d'Huez at the same time. Even Eric Zabel was there. All right, so Eric Zabel was in the same peloton at the start of Alpe d'Huez. It wasn't correct that Pantani had his whole team there. Every team had their whole team there. But Pantani didn't have his team launching off to the attack. It was Cedric Vasseur from memory, and then Veronk and Ulrich, etc. And then Reese was there, Veronk, Casagrande, Hervé was there, I'm pretty sure. And so these guys were all at the front, and then after about 5 minutes, Pantani said, au revoir, I'm outie. But anyway, so Lance's 2003 time, this is the bomb Lance didn't drop. He wanted to hint it out there that he thinks this the whole shenanigans are still running today. Lance kept the emerger going in that video, but he didn't. For those of us who know pro cycling, for those of us who know wattages and stuff, Lance put and they even put fucking JB in there, Johan Brunel, and they had Hincapie in there. So they were sledging so fucking hard, but not sledging overtly. You know, overtly sledging, but not overt sledging, but done so covertly. I mean, you read the comments. You idiot, Harley. You idiot, Durianrider. Lance's time was 4 minutes faster than Geraint Thomas. And it's like Lance Armstrong's 2003 time was slower than Geraint Thomas's 2018 time. So we know that Geraint Thomas could have smashed Pantani's record. Smashed it. They did 5,000 meters. You go and race 5,000 meters elevation and then go and hit Alpe d'Huez and do a 41. You know, that is some serious speed. Also, Geraint Thomas come across the line sprinting, not even gassed out, smiling, just victory salutes, but smiling. His face had zero fatigue on there. So Geraint Thomas would smash Lance Armstrong, and that's what Lance Armstrong was implying. The time Geraint Thomas did was unbelievable, unbelievably fast. Geraint Thomas is a freak, as is Chris Froome, Thomas Dumoulin. Tom Dumoulin would smash Lance Armstrong, 1999, definitely. Look at the time trial they did. Look at the times they did out the West. It's incredible. So, and they weren't even going full gas. Especially Geraint Thomas was not going full gas. He broke away sprinting like a track sprint, like a 4,000 pursuit finale. Just incredible power, incredible watts per kilo. So, and they weren't even going full gas. Look how easy their breathing was. So the morons out there who just Geraint Thomas' time wouldn't break the top 100. Geraint Thomas did 5,000 meters elevation. Geraint Thomas wasn't even gassed at the top. They waited for Nibali. They waited for someone. Nibali crashed, broke his fucking back, and still caught onto the guys because they waited for him. All right, go and wait for your mate who's crashed on a climb, and then try like these keyboard warriors out there who don't use a power meter, who have no recollection of Armstrong's 2003 time, which was 41:15 from memory. Slower than Geraint Thomas's time, but by a few seconds. So there you go. So Geraint Thomas is faster than Lance Armstrong, and that was a video of Lance Armstrong sledging Geraint Thomas hard, but the average person wouldn't even see that. That's over the top of the average person. I picked it up. A few of us picked it up. A few of us data freaks out picked it up. Quite funny. Lance Armstrong's a smart motherfucker, and so is Geraint Thomas. So is anyone up the top of the front, because you got to be pretty smart these days to be up top, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's my comments, criticisms. That's the proof. Geraint Thomas is faster than Cadell, faster than Pantani, faster than Lance. Geraint Thomas, if Geraint Thomas was in the 1997 Tour de France, he would smoke them. Absolutely smoke them. In the TT, on the climbs, on the downhills, smoke them. Maybe Salvadelli would come close on the downhills, but the Falco. But anyway, that's done. Geraint Thomas, super rider. And also, I saw on Geraint Thomas' Instagram, look what it was, looked to be, potentially, a high-carb, low-fat vegan pizza. That's another topic for another video. Anyway, more Tour de France banter here. I rate it. I love watching the tour. I know what's going on. I don't care. It's entertainment. It's sport. It's pro sport. Meanwhile in Africa, people are complaining about drugs and sport. Meanwhile in Africa, imagine if we spent all the money talking about drugs and sport and gave it to starving people around the world. I think we'd have a better place. Why are we doing drug testing? Give that money, feed it to grow corn and vegan food, and feed it to those starving kids. Why are we drug testing athletes? It's entertainment. We want to see champs. We want to see records smashed. We want to see Geraint Thomas do 41 minutes in a hot day of racing with zero signs of fatigue. We want to see that. I don't want to see him puffing and panting. I want to see him do it like mutants. Mutants. We love the mutant cycling. Forget drug testing. Give that money to the growing corn, etc. And just stop pretending that drugs and sports are going to go away. It's not. It's not. All you dummies out there can critique Lance Armstrong. You can critique Chris Froome. A whole bunch of hypocrites. You are, if you do that, because everyone's on the juice. So if you want to cheer for anyone, cheer for anyone. See ya.
Easy. It's gone too far. It's time to wipe the fake blood off that platinum plate.
When you say you're right, but you know you're wrong, then have you the...
Okay, so we are on stickybottle.com, and someone talked about Geraint Thomas being that cycling has gotten slower up the Alpe d'Huez. Let's have a look. So the fastest time, 1997, Tour de France, Marco Pantani. I think that's stage 12, 1997 Tour de France, and the actual peloton arrived at the foot of Alpe d'Huez together. So even Eric Zabel was in that group. So the entire peloton went so slow that whole day. They arrived at the foot of the Alpe d'Huez, and then 5 minutes in, Pantani launched. I think the first attack was Cedric Vasseur, who is known as a natty rider. So back then, they did that stage incredibly easily. We had Lance Armstrong in the time trial, etc. But we'll go back to Lance Armstrong in 2003. Lance Armstrong, he was natural then and he ran a 41.18. So in 2003 he was clean. He rode 41.18. Geraint Thomas this year rode 41.15. We know Geraint Thomas is also clean as well. So if you look at the face of Lance Armstrong, when he come across the line in 2003, he was pretty exhausted, pretty red, pretty flustered. But Geraint Thomas looked totally relaxed, calm, and yeah. So there you go. So proof that Lance was clean in 2003 and Geraint Thomas was clean, because those times are clean times. Samuel Sanchez, another clean rider, he did 41.21. Alberto Contador, also a clean rider in 2011, did a 41.30. So Lorenz Fignon, clean. Herrera, Delgado. So all these guys clean. Tom Danielson, clean, 43.12. So we know that anything under 40 is a bit suspect. All these riders here have been busted. Lance Armstrong, Pantani, Floyd, etc. But we know anything over 40 minutes is clean. Jan Ulrich, Frank Schleck, Vinokurov, clean. Lance, clean. All these times were clean. And Geraint Thomas, 41.15 with a totally relaxed face, also clean. Just proof today that the peloton is a lot cleaner than it was at the top back in the day. So there you go. People said, why is Geraint Thomas faster than Lance Armstrong? 2003. It's because Lance was natty back then as well. All right, I hope that cleared up any confusion. And very, very fantastic Tour de France this year. Not many time trials, but it was quite different. But Froome and Froome, who else was on the podium this year? So there's a lot of noobs out there who still don't understand. Even Lance Armstrong said that they were chatting, that they were like cat and mousing, that Brunel said that Landa got dropped 3 times. He got dropped really quickly. So if you get dropped really quickly and then you get it back on not once, but not twice, but 3 times, it means the pace was really slow. Tom Dumoulin and Big T also said they had a headwind. And you saw him riding 4 abreast. And Nibali broke his back. Literally broke his back. Got back on the bike, immense pain, and then still kept. They waited for him. All right, so that was really good. So Geraint Thomas sprinted the last bit, 1,000-watt attack, probably doing 1,000 watts when he attacked, gapped the best climbers in the world. So that's how fast Geraint Thomas was. Headwind, 5,000 meters of racing beforehand, elevation racing, up and down. So got that headwind, 5,000 meters of elevation, still sprinting at the end, and still did a time faster than Lance Armstrong's 2003 time. All right. And so the Pantani time, when I said that Pantani is slower than Geraint Thomas, it's true. When Pantani did his record ever, they had a flat stage. Even Eric Zabel was on at the start of the climb. The sprinter, the green jersey winner that year, was at the start of Alpe d'Huez. So that's like having Mark Cavendish or Peter Sagan or Marcel Kittel or Tom Boonen at the start of Alpe d'Huez. You know, these non-climbers who just get dropped as soon as the road goes up hardcore in the Tour de France. They get dropped. So these people out there still saying, complete bollocks again, Durianrider. Thomas stage win was outside the top 100 times that climb. They didn't even go full gas. So this other person, Wesley, writes, it's the 77th fastest. Like, they race every single climb hardcore, and they don't. Thomas did enough effort to win the race, win the stage to get time bonuses. All right? As if you're going to go up there as faster than Pantani after 5,000 meters elevation, and someone's not going to be suspect. Morons like you, I shouldn't say moron, but noobs like you would see a suspect time and go, oh my God, look at that. Now you see a time that's safe. You go, oh look, it's safe because it's 77th fastest, so it can't be sus. Even though it was faster than Lance Armstrong's 2003 time. Geraint Thomas rode Alpe d'Huez faster than Lance Armstrong did in 2003, about 3 seconds faster. He says that Sky right up there, the fastest way they can. No, they don't. They control the race. Froome and Geraint Thomas are so far beyond their team helpers. It's insane. You know, protected riders at threshold. They're not riding at threshold. They're riding at a pace that looks okay, and that Nibali can catch back on after he crashes. They're not riding at threshold, bro. You keep, all this stuff. Anyway, Geraint Thomas and Dumoulin were talking up Alpe d'Huez. They're talking. Look at GT's face as he comes across the line. So my point is, Geraint Thomas is faster than 97 Pantani out there at Alpe d'Huez. Because if Geraint Thomas can do that time after and talking and relaxing, looking fresh at the end and attacking at 1,000 watts. You can try and do a 1,000-watt sprint after doing outdoors at 41 minutes, all right? And then you come back and tell me that, he was doing it hardcore. If your average watts is 450, you're struggling to hold that in the last minute. You're not doing 1,000 watts. You're not doubling your power output in the last few hundred meters if you've gone full gas up the climb. You're not. But I understand a lot of noobs out there who don't train with power, who've never done a time trial with power, and they just, they have a few beers, watch Durianriders videos and go, rah, rah, rah. So I get that. I get that. So you're not a moron, you're just a noob. I don't hate you, but you're wrong. And you don't have to agree with me, but you're still wrong. Geraint Thomas is a superstar rider, and they're way faster than Lance Armstrong. It's way faster. They're lighter, they're faster, and there's better technology out there. There's definitely better carbohydrate supplements out there now they're using. So it's fantastic. They're going so quick. They could go a lot quicker as well. But if you totally obliterate the race, then you're very suspicious. So it's best just to win with just enough margin that sponsors of other teams are happy, and you got to have a bit of fair play there. So. And it was good that they waited up for Nibali. That was really cool. But Lander got dropped 3 times and got back on. All right, so that wasn't his perseverance. That was that they dropped the pace off, and he was persevering. But it wasn't like he increased his watts 3 times. It was that they dropped the watts Lander was riding at probably his threshold, and those guys were just chilling. Hopefully that confuses, eases up the subject. Actually, there's one more question. Paul actually wrote. Paul wrote that. I disagree because Lance will get dropped because Lance had an FTP of 6.7, whereas Chris, we don't know. I was actually talking to Paul this morning about this on the doy. We don't know how much Lance actually weighed that morning. We don't know his power output because we don't know. He didn't have a power meter on his bike when he did all those times. So nobody knows actually what the wattage was. We can calculate VAM and stuff, but that's not even that accurate. There's too many variables there. They didn't ride with SRMs in the Tour de France back then. Lance didn't. None of the US Postal raced with SRM back then or power meter, so we don't know what that actually did. What we do know is that we do know they use power meters today, but we don't know how much watts they put out, and we don't know actually how much they weigh each morning before the stage starts. We don't really know that, so we can't accurately calculate this FTP. And FTP changes all the time. If you got 7 watts per kilo FTP, that's only going to handle for 3 or 4 weeks. Right? So FTP varies all the time, year to year, race to race, day to day, how you're feeling, what you've eaten, things like that, what you're taking, vitamins, vitamin E, stuff like that. So all these things, so many variables out there, we don't really know what people are weighing, what they're taking, how much power they're putting out. Not many people are that transparent. But anyway, I hope that answers the question. That is proof. Geraint Thomas is faster than Pantani. Headwinds, waiting for Lander. So Lander catching back up, waiting for Nibali, 5,000 meters elevation, doing a 1,000-watt sprint at the end, still looking fresh face, 0 signs of fatigue. My money is that Geraint Thomas, if he went up there, he would have smashed Pantani's time based on those data. If anyone who knows physiology, that's where it's at. If you disagree with me, you're still wrong. And Lance Armstrong agrees with me. Johan Brunel agree with me. And they were giving mad sledging shade in that video. So Lance agrees with me. Johan agrees with me. The average noob, no fucking idea.